Hi, Gerard. How are you? I'm good, thank you very much. Very good indeed. Okay, we can start. Thank you very much. We in November, I think we had like some issues with scheduling and all of that kind of good stuff. So, but no, it's good to be back. Been on holiday of late. So I was in Lapland visiting Father Christmas last week with the kids, which was lovely. But now we're back into the Christmas period and just preparing for next year, really. Okay, so we can start. Welcome everybody to today's webinar with FX Street. In today's webinar, we are going to talk about day trading and the rules for success in day trading. Now, before we get into all of that, I just want to kind of answer the question as to why day trading, because I know inevitably some of you there will be thinking, well, I'm not sure whether I should be day trading, whether I should be swing trading, where am I going to make more money, all of that kind of good stuff. And the honest answer is it's not about the money that you make, okay? It's not about whether day trading makes you more, swing trading makes you more, because both of them can make you a lot of money. It really comes down to your personality. Now, take my brother and I, for example, okay? My brother is someone who likes to analyze things, likes to look at the fundamentals, the various different economies, and take his time over his trading decisions. So he's quite happy to trade daily charts, and that indeed is where he excels. However, for me, I'm not really someone, I don't have that sort of patience. I like the action. I like to be, I like to be in and out of the market. I like to know whether I'm right very quickly. And if I'm not right, I like to get out of the market very, very quickly. So that's kind of me. That's the way that I enjoy trading. And hence day trading makes sense for me because I get a lot more action. I know whether I'm right very quickly. I'm not sat on positions for days, weeks or months. So it just doesn't suit my day trading suits my personality. Sitting in positions for weeks and months, that doesn't suit my personality. I get itchy fingers. I start to mess with the trade and I do stupid things. So ultimately the answer there is really not about how much money you'll make, but it's about what suits you as a person. You need to define what sort of a trader you're going to be, what you're going to need to keep you disciplined and keep you on the right track. So for example, from my perspective, I know that as a trader, I don't have the greatest amount of patience. All right. It's not a great trait, to be honest with you, as a trader, because as a trader, patience is a very good thing. However, I know that I can't sit there for days and days and days and not take a trade. I'll end up forcing a trade. I'll do something stupid. So I need a system that works for me. I need a system that, one, gives me enough opportunities. I don't need to be loads. Sometimes you will find that there are days when there are no trades. And you know what? You just have to sit on your hands and do nothing. But there will be fewer of those days day trading than there will be if you're position trading. I also know that I'm the sort of person that needs to be reassured, if you like. I need to know that something is working, and I can't sit there and take, 6 losses out of 10, make money and be happy with that. I'm the type of person I need to make 7 winners out of 10 and then I can be happy. That's the sort of trader that I am. So day trading it works for me. It works for my personality. It's not going to work for everybody, but it's something that you need to decide for yourself. Okay. No one can give you that answer. And it's not a question of looking at how much money you can make on any one system. That's a very, very quick road to ruining your whole account and giving up all of your capital. So please don't go down that road. Even if you like the idea of day trading, perhaps there are certain things with your lifestyle that's just not going to make it feasible. And we'll talk about some of that in this webinar here. So a quick disclaimer, the content of this webinar is not investment advice and should be used purely for educational purposes only. All participants are advised to seek their own counsel prior to investing or entering into any trade. Spread betting and any other type of financial trading carries a high level of risk to your capital with the possibility of losing considerably more than your investment. And you guys can read the rest there. Okay? So, a little bit about myself. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the co-founder of a website called Traders Corner. That's www.traderscorner-online.com. It's a website that I run with my brother, where we educate other traders. We trade ourselves primarily. Okay, so we're not an educational website where we don't do it for ourselves. We do everything. Hold on, Joe, 1 second. So we teach the strategies that we use ourselves every day in the market. We've written a few articles for FX Street, FX Journal, FX Trader, quoting on the NASDAQ, and we've authored various different guides, strategy manuals, video courses, all of that kind of good stuff. And yeah, that's a little bit about me, but I guess that's boring. You guys want to get to the real stuff, right? So let's move on. Are scalping and day trading the same? They're similar. Scalping, I'm not sure why that title is there. It is about day trading. You go about day trading rules for success. Okay. So, the first thing about Pip Singh's cooler than scalping. The first thing about day trading, all right, your time and your schedule. You need to ask yourself this. Do you really have the time? Okay? I'm going to ask you that question. Ask yourself that question very, very quickly. Do you really have the time? Day trading means you need to sit in front of a computer all day, every day, or not every day, but you need to be consistent when you sit down to the computer. It's not something that you can kind of do on your iPhone, peek at the charts every now and then. You have to be fully committed to it. You need to be able to say to yourself, I'm going to sit down for X amount of time. And it needs to be a good period of time. You can't sit down for 15 minutes. That doesn't make sense. So ideally you want to be able to sit down for a session. You know, even if it's the morning UK session or the afternoon session, fine. But you need to be consistent in that. So do you have the time to do this? If you don't, there's no point in attempting to day trade because you're really setting yourself up for failure. Day trading, you have to get into a rhythm. Okay, you don't always have, depending on the sorts of charts you trade, you don't have a great deal of time to make your trading decisions. You know, you're in, you're out of the market, the markets are moving, there's momentum. You need to be focused. It really is, it's different to swing trading in the sense that you can't just, you can't spend 15 minutes a day or half an hour a day browsing the charts and then walk away. You really need to be in the moment and focused on the job at hand. You then need to create a schedule, okay, and you need to stick to it. So what do I mean by this? I'm not saying that you need to trade every day, but you at least need to know that you're going to trade, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example, or Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday and Wednesday. Whatever it is, you need to have the same schedule and you need to stick to it because trading is about consistency and you need to be consistent and disciplined in the way that you approach the market because that will ensure that you're more consistent and disciplined when you're actually trading it. It's a very, very important point there. So do you really have the time? And if you do have the time, then you need to create a schedule. You need to stick to it. And one of the things that we do in our seminars is we hand round like a diary. Okay, and we say to people, fill this in. So it gives you 5 days a week. It gives you from 6 a.m. in the morning till 10 p.m. at night and say, okay, shade it in which areas can you actually trade. Okay, so some people say, we want to day trade and all of this. And say, okay, shade in the areas where you're not working or doing something else and you can fully commit it to your actual trading. And then when they actually end up filling it in, you find that actually a lot of them may like to day trade, but they may be better suited to some of the swing trading strategies that we teach and stuff like that. Can you trade in the Asian session? Yes, of course you can. Okay. Any days better to trade than others, and same for sessions. Days is a difficult thing because it really depends on what's coming out on that particular day. So I wouldn't necessarily say days is something that we keep high on the list. Sessions, for sure. We only day trade during the during the European session or the UK session. So UK morning, UK afternoon. That's when we personally trade. It's not to say you can't trade at other times. We just find that we've been more successful trading then, and also we live in the UK, so it makes more sense. Okay? Giraffe, it's really difficult to say because I've had some great Mondays and Fridays. I've had some awful middle of the weeks and vice versa. So from a day perspective, it's difficult to say, to be honest with you. Okay, so now that we've got the time and schedule out of the way, once you've decided whether you can or can't do it, how do you approach it? I said just now that for longer term trading, you obviously need to plan your trade. Hold on. Excuse me, I'm getting a sore throat here. So you need to, you have a lot of time to plan your trade, think about it, all of that kind of good stuff. Well, with day trading, you still need to make a plan. You can't necessarily plan every single individual trade, but you'll know what your trading business plan looks like, so you know what your setup looks like. But you still need to create a plan. So you need to try and establish a bias or an expectation for the day. So you know what you're going to do in every eventuality. All right. Having said that, you do not want to get married to any one trade idea. You know, when I'm trading, I may look at the charts and I may say, well, on the dailies, it's down. There's momentum to the downside. So I'm looking for short opportunities. Wonderful. However, that doesn't mean I won't take a long opportunity. If a long opportunity presents itself, I'll take it. I just probably won't ride it for as much as I would ride a short opportunity, because a short opportunity is in the direction of the daily trend. So if I'm going long in a downtrending market, that's not a problem. Downtrending on the daily, I mean. But I will keep a closer eye on it. You know, so I won't just sit there and leave. I won't give it as much room to tell me it's wrong, if that makes any sense. How can you take a bias on the market? Well, ultimately, what I do is I look at things like, I primarily look at the daily charts. So I see which way the daily charts are trending. And then based on that, I'll look at the close of the previous day's candle. Was it a big momentum day? Was it a range day? If it's, a really narrow range day, I would say, well, ultimately I'm looking for a breakout to the upside or the downside. It's all of that sort of a thing, if that makes any sense. But for this webinar isn't designed for sort of price action and technical analysis, to be honest with you. There are webinars that I've done, with their recordings on FX Street, which will show you that sort of stuff. And there are many other webinars from other people as well on FX Street, which will show you how to identify trends and all of that. But to be honest with you, the focus of this webinar anyway is on day trading and the rules that you need to succeed whilst day trading. Okay? So you want to identify your key levels for the day. You want to understand where the levels are that you're expecting price to do something. And if you don't get price action at those levels, then you don't do anything. Does that make sense? You got to identify, or you identify the big levels where you know for sure that you don't want to be in the markets. You don't want to trade into a big daily support or a big daily resistance level. It doesn't make any sense. So if you get a trade at those particular levels, then you know to pass up on. Right? Now, it sounds like this is a lot of work and effort, but unfortunately, I promise you, if you don't put in this work and effort, and just turn up to the screens, turn up your charts, and hope to make money, in the long run, you're going to cause yourselves a lot of problems. Professional traders make plans. Professional traders do their administration. They understand that the preparation is just as important as the trading itself. Some interference on my side? No, I can move my phone away from the... Move my phone away. Nothing ringing. Is that better? Yeah? Okay. Damn iPhones. Someone get me a Samsung. Anyone? Christmas present, please? No? Thanks. I thought we were friends. Okay, thank you. I'll send you my address. Okay, so the next one is which market? What sort of a market are you in? Are you in a trending market? Are you in a consolidation, price acceptance type phase? You need to understand the sort of market you're in because you need to wait for the right conditions to trade. You do not trade just because you feel like you should be in the market. That is 100% not a trading strategy. Well, it's not a trading strategy for winners anyway. Okay. So if the market is kind of cycling around the open, then you probably know that you're in a range day and you should look to be trading tops and bottoms or wait until it breaks. Okay. If after the open you get a big move in one direction, that's an indication that you could be looking at some sort of a momentum day. And hence you can be looking to buy support on the way up or buy through resistance and all of that kind of stuff. So you really need to understand what sort of a market it is that you are in, because that's going to ensure that you'll take the right trading decisions. If you're in a range-bound market, there's no point trying to take a trade and hold it for 50 pips because you're not going to get it. It's going to get to the highs and it's going to reverse, and it's going to sell off. It will get to the lows, it will reverse, and you'll get some buying pressure there. That's what it will do. You can't be married to any one particular idea, even though you have an expectation of what you believe the market's going to do. If it shows you something else, then you need to trade accordingly or not trade at all. All right. Just a very quick question. How many of you in here do trade, day trade the markets? Okay. Do you all have success at it? How many of you are successful? You try but not very successful. Not really, some 50-50. Okay. And from what we've spoken about so far, Fred, very good. Very, very good. What we've spoken about so far, how many of you actually take this sort of stuff into account? How many of you make a plan for the day? You know, how many of you have an expectation, have a bias? Good. Nomad has a strict plan, and he's the one that's doing very, very successful. Good stuff. So a lot of you are already halfway there. Some of you are not very organized. And I think that you'll find that when you do start to get organized, you will see an improvement in your trading. You don't have it written down. Okay, Michael, not a problem. You should probably try to write it down. All of this, it isn't necessarily going to make you understand the markets better, but what it does instead is it enforces a discipline. It instills some sort of a discipline and the right approach in the market. So Nema just said there, which is precisely the point. Until you made a strict plan, he wasn't doing very well, but now he's doing very well, now that he knows what he's got to do. Good stuff. All right, moving on. So, the right mindset. Hold on, can I go back a slide, please, for a sec? Yes? Is that okay? All right. So the right mindset. Remember that you are day trading. Okay, you are not position trading. So you are not going for 100 pips in a trade. You're not going to get the whole range of the market in one particular trade. All right, what you need to be looking to do, or what I do anyway, is I trade the market cycles. So I'm looking for the average swing, and I'll be looking to take a proportion, maybe 60-70% of the average swing. That's what I'm looking to do. I'm not looking to extract everything in a day. I know I can't do that. From a day trading perspective, my idea is to ultimately take good trades and be consistent in my approach and take lots and lots of little wins. I don't care about the home runs. That's not what I'm about. I'm about taking lots of small wins and letting them all add up at the end of the day. What in my view would be a plan? A plan is ultimately saying, which are your key levels? All right. So where do you not want to be trading into? Where would you be expecting to support to come in? Where would you be expecting resistance? Which ways are the dailies going? So are the dailies, is there momentum to the upside? Is there momentum to the downside? Are we at a critical point on the dailies? What news is coming out for the next day? Do I want to be trading around the news? Do I want to be trading the reaction of the news? All of that kind of good stuff. So ultimately, when you come down to your computer, you've already done all of the research. All you have to do is wait for your trade setups and focus on, take your trade setups and focus on executing well. That's what your job is when you're sat in front of your screen. It's not to be thinking about, should I be doing this or should I be doing that? You've already done all of that planning. And then your job is just to make sure you take the right trades at the right time. Great way to trade. It is indeed. Your broker must love you, all those small trades. Yeah, they have taken us out to dinner a few times. I have to say that. So, yeah, we probably do have a good relationship with our broker. But you know what? It's win-win. They give us very, very low spreads and very, very low commission. So, in fact, I actually had to have a conversation with them a couple of years ago because sometimes the spread was killing me. And I was saying, you know what? We have this. This is the way that I enjoy trading. However, with the spreads large on these and the commissions, it's not helping me. It's not something that I'm going to be able to sustain. And they were happy enough to do something with me there. So. Daily 10 ATR of the euro 70 points. How much should you aim for? Alexander, it's a question of kind of looking at the day before and looking at the current day and looking at how big the swings are. So typically, I'm not looking to take 2 times the pullback or anything like that. What I personally like to do is I like to buy support when the market's pulling back and get out of my trade before we get back up to the resistance point. That's my preferred way of trading. Sometimes you can't do that because it's too close to the resistance point, but on average, that's sort of the way that I like to do it. With so much planning, do you find it best to restrict yourself to only one pair? No, not really, because what you've got to understand is that there's only really sort of 6 or 7 major currency pairs. There's not a hell of a lot to do. So from a fundamental perspective, once you know what's going on with, those currency pairs, then you just apply it to the crosses. With regards to key levels, doesn't take too long at all. I mean, you can look at a chart and it'll take you all of 30 seconds to mark up a chart for the next day. Which momentum indicators do I use? I just look at the price, Schumann. Do you wait and watch the charts or do you set the orders? I wait and watch the charts, Michael. That's what day trading is about. For me anyway, it's about building up a feel and understanding what's going on in the market and then taking the trade. You can set orders, that's not a problem. But for me personally, I like to be in front of the chart. I like to get a feel from the markets. Do you think it's important? Do you think it's possible to day trade profitably from levels beside? Yeah. Oh no, 100%, Gabriel. I do trade from other levels as well. I just have the big levels there because I know that's where I can add size, or that's where I can completely avoid trading. You tried all of that. You put on trading. The market does not move. In that case, what do? Do you hold a position overnight? No, generally not, John. If the market doesn't move anywhere and sort of starts to move sideways and you haven't gone anywhere and you've been in it for an hour or so, then I typically just cut the position. Will it be recorded? I am not sure. Do you find it best to haggle with your broker and Woodbury? I only did it back then and I haven't had a need to do it since, What time frames do I use for entering and exiting? Well, I actually trade range charts. So there isn't a specific time frame. I trade anything from sort of like the 4 up to the 10, 20, 40 range chart. Well, that's not for day trading. Day trading's up into about a 10 range chart. Oh, wonderful. Just looking at the Noki, Euro Noki trade that I missed. Wonderful. See what I do for you guys? Been waiting for this trade, and then it sets up and it goes. How many trades do I take on average per week? Michael, that could be anywhere from, on one currency pair, if you're just trading one, that could be anything from sort of 5, 6, 7, 8 to 0. But me personally, roughly 2 to 3 trades a day. Set orders. Yeah, I know, but I didn't know how it's going to react. I didn't know where the term was going to be. What's my win rate? On average, somewhere around 63, 64%. I have weeks where, I'm an absolute hero and I'm more so like 70, 80%. And I have weeks where, a couple of weeks where I had an absolutely horrific week. And it was down somewhere around 35, 40%. But on average, about 65%. My risk reward typically is somewhere between it's always above 1-to-1, or for the most part, unless the market's pulling back. But it averages out at around 1.4-to-1, roughly. Do I think it will break support and go down today? I can bring up a chart in a second. It's not really the focus of this webinar. With spreads so important for day traders, can you guide us with regards to the broker that you use? Manoj, I can. However, I'm not sure how much you can negotiate with them or not. We have quite a large account, to be honest with you. So it really depends on the size of the account, but we are with FXCM. I don't use point and figure charts, Alexander, so I really couldn't comment there. GCash copy. Actually, yeah, Vipul, I've heard that about them. They've got some good spreads. They just charge you commission, so that might be a place to go. Will the pound dollar break? I have no clue. At the moment, it's a big support on the 4-hour charts. And once it gets through that support, it's got a previous level of resistance. It's a big level. 62.53 is a big level. I wouldn't be looking to sell until we get through there. Do you think the banks work with market orders, or do you have orders and sit and wait? Or do they test a good level to enter? The big bankers, the big traders, they can do both. You've got to understand that a lot of the time the bankers are trading because they're taking their clients' positions. So they will be creating liquidity for themselves to put their clients' positions on. So they're not always, when they say prop trading and everything, that's basically trading to make sure they don't lose money on the orders that they take. How long have I been trading? Since about 2005. How many pairs do I trade? Long term, everything that moves. Shorter term, 9 or 10 currency pairs and some of the indices. What sort of startup capital would you suggest for day trading for a living? That's a really difficult question because it depends what you consider a living. So if you want to make £1,000 a month, in reality, you'd probably want 10 grand in an account. 10% I don't think is unrealistic at all to make day trading. If you have less than that, it's possible, but you're taking bigger risks than you need to. Do FXCM offer any spread betting, Michael? I don't know, to be honest with you. I really do not know. Lots of questions coming in here. And we haven't even got to the end of the presentation. Any other questions, or shall we move on? Do you find that using range bar shows some support and resistance levels better than time-based? Yes and no. I still look at time-based charts, but I do like the fact that range charts, you can see the absolute turning points. Okay, let's move on. So, yeah, the right mindset. Know what sort of a position that you're in. Okay, if you're day trading, you aren't going to take 100 pips out of the market. You know, you want to be trading the market cycles and not really looking for the home runs, from my personal opinion. All right. Momentum. This is a big one for me. A very, very big one. Always wait for momentum. If you're trading breakouts and trends, if there's no momentum, then there's unlikely going to be a follow through. So all of the trading for me is I'm waiting for momentum. I'm waiting for the markets to show me some sort of a move before I look to get in on the trade. At the moment, for example, the pound dollar is giving me momentum to the downside. The problem is it's got momentum directly into a very, very big level, which is just broken. Nice. Just broken that level now. If it can stay broken, then and pull back to that level, that might be a good trade now. Yeah, so if you don't have momentum in the markets, you have no business trading trends or anything like that. You need to have an idea of which way the daily momentum is going as well. So if you're with the trend, you're more likely to get a bigger move and a bigger follow through than if you're against the trend. And when I talk about daily momentum, I'm not saying look at a daily chart and look to see that it's making higher highs and higher lows or lower highs and lower lows. That's one side of it. The other side of it is looking at where the momentum of the last few candles have come from as well. Does that make sense? So ultimately looking at like the past 2 or 3 days, has there been momentum to the upside? Is it to the downside? Has it been range bound? All of that kind of good stuff. Or are you at a key point in the markets where you're expecting it to turn? And if it turns to the upside, are you expecting volatility? That sort of a thing you want to keep in mind. If you don't have momentum, then you're much more likely to make money trading the tops and the bottoms. If you have momentum, trying to sell tops and buy bottoms is going to kill you. How long does it take you before you're consistently profitable? About, well, I went through stages, but probably a year before I knew in myself that I could make money, to be honest with you. Isn't the pullback trading going against the trend? No, a pullback, pullback, you're trading with the trend. So you're trading with the overall trend, but you've got to understand that every trend has price acceptance phases. Okay, so a pullback is just a phase of price acceptance, and if you have momentum before that, then you can expect further moves in the direction from where the momentum just came. High volatility, Alexander. We like them to move. If they don't move, we don't make money. Give a breakdown of my day. Okay, our day is basically trade from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. in the morning UK time, and then 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. and then I'm done for the actual trading part. I'll spend an hour afterwards just analyzing the trades, going through all of my charts, looking at all of the trades that I took, trying to find reasons, not reasons, but understand why I took a trade. Was it a good trade to take with hindsight, and sort of really look at the charts and try and etch it into my brain so I understand tomorrow, what I did well, what I can continue to do well, what I did badly, and try and learn the lessons from the day. On the morning of the trading, so somewhere around 7 o'clock, I'll come in and do my analysis, mark up the levels, look at the news that's out and all of that kind of good stuff. 1 year of full, what do you mean, Vipul? No, I've been trading for about 9 years. It took me a year until I was confident and could make money in the markets. Oh, various things. Drink his coffee. I don't trade the end of the US section, no. Do I offer mentoring as in private mentoring? or we offer courses and all of that kind of stuff. Private mentoring, we don't offer a product as such, but it's not something we're against. We can offer private mentoring. I don't have a problem with that. You drop me an email. How many trades a day on average do you take? Roughly 2 to 3. Trade UK morning and US morning. Yeah, essentially that's it. Yeah, the private mentoring, if you're interested, if you drop us an email at support, I'll write the email address here. Oops. Can I type? Okay. Just a few slides left. So what if you don't get a trade? In the beginning, this really used to bother me. You know, if I'm not trading, if there's nothing setting up, I'd start looking for other ways to trade, add other pairs, all of that kind of good stuff. And, thank you, Michael. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so if we don't get a trade, in the beginning it used to be a problem for me, so I'd add other pairs, and that always led to issues, because the more pairs you add, the more that you find that you miss, the more that you start to revenge trading on the market. So if you don't get a trade, then that's not a problem. There will be one tomorrow. Okay, and if there's not one tomorrow, there will be one the day after. Now, I know I know from my own experience that I hate it when that happens. I really do. I find that I said to you at the beginning, you know, I'm trading, I day trade because I like to be in and out of the market. So when I don't get trades, it's not nice, but at the end of the day, it's something that you have to understand will happen. The markets are not always going to provide you the setups that you need to make money. But under no circumstances do you start adding more instruments without testing it or add a new strategy. You just accept that that's the way the market is. A big part of trading is keeping your money. If you can keep your money on the on the days that don't make any sense for your particular trading system, then you can make money, because on the profitable days, then you can make a killing. But if you give back everything that you make on your profitable days, on those losing days, then, you know, you're really not going to be doing yourself any favors whatsoever. Have I had several consecutive losing days? Yes. Yes, I have, Alexander. Yep, the email's at the bottom of the slide. My brother's day and schedule. My brother sits there all day reading Bloomberg. Reading Bloomberg, Reuters, watching the news feeds coming in, looking at some of the charts, but he doesn't really act on it. And then he does his analysis later on after the market closes, and then puts on his trade and walks away. How do I cope after losing trades? Well, losing days, it's difficult. I'm not going to lie. You will question yourself. You will question whether you've got what it takes. Have you lost it? All of that kind of good stuff. We're human beings. It happens to all of us. I'd be lying if I said that those things didn't bother me. They do. But the important thing isn't to try and say, well, you know, you shouldn't have emotions, because that's ridiculous. You're a trader. You're a human being. You will have emotions. Whether it's not having the emotions, it's being able to control them, from my personal perspective. So it's not about saying you shouldn't feel pain if you lose a trade, or you shouldn't feel happy if you make money on a trade. You will, 100%. If you make money, you will be happy. It's human nature. If you lose money, you're going to be slightly upset. Again, it's human nature. The key is to make sure that you control your emotions. So just because you're happy, you don't do anything differently the next trade. So I understand that there are a lot of market psychologists out there that say, you know, you need to be a robot. You need to, you know, not feel pleasure or pain when you're trading. But in reality, I don't know how realistic that is. It's a great idea, but I don't know that actually makes sense. So would you say that you're a technical trader and your brother's fundamental? My brother still takes his trades based on technicals, but he has a very, very good grasp of the big picture. So he uses the big picture to help him define which trades to take. You know, because there can be times when 8 trades set up all at the same time. So he'll know that something's going on with the Australian economy. Maybe the RBA are looking to cut rates or something like that, which would make sense to be short the Aussie. Maybe something positive's going on in Europe, which would make sense to be long the euro and, you know, concoct a trade idea based on that. You want to make a real account, but you don't know which broker to choose. You could give some brokers that you think are good. To be honest with you, Anton, I can't, because I only really trade with one, which is FXCM. I have a spread betting account with IG Index, and I've just opened up an account with Interactive Brokers for some stocks and options. I don't pay too much. I quite like trading off the back of the news, to be honest with you. That's something that I really enjoy doing. I don't try and predict the news. Okay, last slide here because we're running out of time. We've only got a minute or two left. Risk management. Daily stop loss as well as a trade stop loss. I don't know if any of you use this idea, but it's something that really, really helps me. You should really have a daily stop loss. So let's say, for example, your trading stop loss is, I don't know, 0.5%, 1%. You should say that if you lose 3% in one day, you close down your screens and you walk away. The reason for this is that this will keep you away from, you know, when you're having a bad day, things don't tend to get better. You just seem to make more and more and more mistakes. So if you have a daily stop loss, you have a way to say, you know what, I've reached the point in the market. Sorry, 1 second. Struggling here. Yeah, you've reached the point in the market where, you know, you've taken too many losses on your account. You need to preserve your account, your capital. So you're going to walk away from it and come back tomorrow. All right. So you should have a daily stop loss. Like, so for me, for example, my daily stop loss is 2% when I'm day trading, and my average trade size will be about 0.5%. Stop smoking. If only I could blame it on that. I don't smoke. Teetotal here. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, nothing like that. Also, it's quite a good idea in the beginning to have a target. Once you've been trading for a while, you don't necessarily want to have a target because you don't want to restrict the profits that you can make. But in the beginning, to stop you over trading, it's also a good idea to say, once I reach 2-3% for the day, I'll close down the charts, I'll walk away and I'll be happy. Right? And then obviously the no give back rule. Do any of you trade with this? What that ultimately says is, let's say you've made a nice run up of your capital. So maybe you've made 1.5% for the day. What you would then do is say, if I give more than 50% of this back, I'm also closing down my screens and walking away, because you may be getting into that cycle. You don't want a good winning day to turn into a losing day. So all of these things here are there to protect you. If you're emotional, you make hasty decisions. Would you say that sometimes you get inconsistent trades because you're relying on moving stop losses? I took a loss yesterday and moved the stop loss up. If the question, let me understand that question now. You get inconsistent trades. Yeah, if you're trading emotionally, your trades will be inconsistent 100%. So instead of taking a 1% loss, you'll take a 2% loss. Yeah, don't ever move the stop loss, Michael. That is not the way to trade there. Never do that. Do you rate your trades like this one minus 0.5 losses and that's still 1% loss because, hold on 1 minute. Man, what's going on with all of these, man? I'm not sure I follow that. So you adjust your position size until, yeah, you would adjust your position size. Do you ever change your risk according? Yes, I do. If I'm trading from a bigger level in the direction of the daily trend, I would add more size than if I'm trading from a big level in the direction, then I'd add more size than if I was trading against the trend into a big level. Could you or your brother also do a webinar on swing trading next time? You know he doesn't come here a lot, but as a special request, I will ask him. I'll ask him if he can do a webinar for you all on fundamentals and swing trading. Similar webinar to this, no problem. It's not the less stop loss, Alexander. The stop loss is always going to be technical. All right. So, oops, 1 second. Yeah, the stop loss is always going to be technical. It's the amount that I'm going to risk on a trade. Who is more profitable, my brother or myself? It really depends. We go through different phases. I mean, ultimately, I take smaller positions than him. So it all kind of marries up at the end of the day. So I'm profitable more of the time than he is, but his wins are a lot bigger than mine. Make sense? Okay, people. I trade candlesticks, range charts. Okay, everyone. So we've kind of run over our allotted time here. The next slide was Q&A anyway, but we've done a lot of Q&A in this webinar. So I don't think that's a problem there. I hope you've all enjoyed this particular webinar. If you want to do, thank you very much. If you want to do another webinar like this on swing trading, I will speak to my brother and see if we can get him on here for a special appearance. You'll all have to make sure that you turn up though. If I do manage to get him on for one of these. If you have any questions, our email's at the bottom of the slide there. This will be recorded. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon. Okay? So have a good day now, and good trading to you all.